everyone, I'm Roxie Deer from the Wayne County Area Chamber of Commerce, and I am so excited to be hosting our first ever episode of Together. This series will highlight young professionals and the work they are doing right here in Wayne County. How cool is that? We have so many unique and fun and just great individuals that are doing work that never get to be recognized. And this episode, this series will get to recognize those individuals. Today, we're going to hear from one of my favorite young professionals in the community, Tyler Stewart. Tyler's the director of the Excel Center Richmond. He's a Richmond native. He's an Earlham grad. He's a great guy. And I got to work with him at the Excel Center for a little bit. So we're going to hear about how his story has come to fruition. And we're also going to be talking about all things going on with Hype Wayne County. If you're not familiar with HYPE, it stands for Helping Young Professionals Engage, and we work with anyone 21 to 40 in Wayne County. And we do social networking, we do professional development, we even do volunteer opportunities to help build our community. And there's so many exciting things happening that I want to give you a quick overview before we jump into our interview with Tyler. So HYPE has started about 15 years ago as a project that came out of Institute for Creative Leadership. And you know, if you've ever taken ICL, that the projects really are focused on building community and building a place that we all want to live, work, and play. And HYPE came to fruition. It was called YAP originally, and Young Adult Professionals, and they were doing a lot of social networking. Well, over the years, YAP turned into HYPE, and it was housed under IU East. It was housed under the Chamber. It's been under many different organizations. And when I joined about 5 years ago, it was its own separate 501c3. At the time, HYPE was doing a lot of social networking, but it wasn't meeting the needs of what our employers needed. And so in 2019, HYPE became joined the Chamber as part of their as the Chamber's umbrella organization, and is now its own committee with the Chamber. So with that, there's a lot of changes in our programming, and that means we're doing lots of social networking, but they look a little bit different. We're not in so many bars and doing pub crawls. We're utilizing our local restaurants and our local vendors and retail stores to provide unique opportunities. There's also a lot more professional development. In the past year, we've hosted Adulting 101 series where we've talked about how to buy a house, how to sell a house, what does it mean to have an investment, what's a retirement plan, and even how to make personal investments. That series will continue into 2021, and we're excited to announce some new financial literacy programming as well. Other things that HYPE are doing, we've got a book club, we've got monthly social networking opportunities, we've got a great social media rollout where we highlight one young professional each month. Like I mentioned, you're going to hear from Tyler Stewart in a little bit. Other things about HYPE, we're launching a lot of new programs this year. We're finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel that was COVID and a global pandemic. And so with that, we're going to roll out lots of new programs that young professionals and our seasoned professionals will be able to take advantage of. Some of those programs include Flavor of Wayne County, which is a brand new event and will look similar to Taste of Wayne County, just a higher upscale event. And we've got a fun, unique, and exciting location that I'm ready to announce. Do you want to hear it? We're going to be on top of the parking garage in the city of Richmond. Downtown Richmond, a great evening, lots of music, live music, great restaurants where for a special price, you will get to try all of those restaurants. And the best part, we've got even more events. That's just the beginning of the work that we're doing. You will get to check out all of our new events that include community development and volunteering opportunities. We've recently rolled out a program called It's Worth the Hype. And if you haven't heard about this, I'm going to tell you just a quick little overview. Next month, you're going to hear more details about this. This program is, like I said, a great way to get involved in the community, and it will be recognizing young professionals who are doing already incredible work. So let's say maybe you're a young professional who serves on a nonprofit board, or you attend a lot of chamber events. You will now be able to log your attendance to those events and submit pictures and get documentation, and those will all equal points. So every time you go to a chamber educational event or you go to a HYPE social networking, you'll get points. And throughout the year, you'll be able to check in and use those points and redeem them for other opportunities in our community. If you're interested in learning more about that, you can visit hypewaynecounty.org, and it's under the Incentive Program tab. Another thing that Hype is working on is we do quarterly blood drives. And while there are lots of blood drives to attend, ours have been hit with resounding excellence and great attendance. We're so excited about this. All of our blood drives right now include the COVID antibody test, which we know is a great resource to have. And it also, we're partnering with the Richmond Senior Center to make those happen. So it's a great networking event when it's not COVID, but with COVID, we're able to save some lives and give back to our community. In the past few months, those blood drives have been the most attended blood drives in Wayne County. Stay tuned for when we roll out our next date. If you're interested in getting involved in Hype Wayne County, I encourage you to do so. You can visit our website. Like I said, it's hypewaynecounty.org. You can email me, Roxie, Roxie, at wcareachamber.org, or you can call our office at 962-1511. You can also reach out on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even LinkedIn. We hope that you enjoy the new series together, and we hope you learn a little bit about all the work young professionals are doing in our community. I'm excited to introduce Tyler Stewart. I think he will be a great young professional to highlight and kick this series off with. I'm going to head over to the interview. Obviously, we're on Zoom, but thank you so much for tuning in. Hi, everyone. I'm Roxie Deer from the Wayne County Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here today with our Young Professional Highlight of the Month, Tyler Stewart. Welcome, Tyler.
Thanks for having me.
So, Tyler, you and I know each other, but why don't you go ahead and tell our audience a little bit about who you are personally, and then we'll talk about your professional role.
All right. Well, personally, I'm someone who was born and raised here in Richmond, Indiana. I'll go through them all. Went to Westview Elementary School, Dennis Middle School, and Richmond High School, as well as Earlham College. So graduated from Richmond High School in 2002 and from Earlham College in 2006. I have a wife named Taryn, who is from about as far away from Richmond, Indiana as you can be, from Riverside, California. And then my two kids, Darius, who's 10, and Sophia, who is 8.
Wow. So you've been through Richmond through some great times. You've grown up here. You've made it your personal goal to really take on a big challenge professionally. Tell us a little bit about what you do in your professional role.
Sure. So I am the director at the Excel Center in Richmond. I actually started at the Excel Center in October of 2010 in Indianapolis, and I worked with another Richmond native, Joe White. And after about the first 3 or 4 days, I just remember talking to Joe. I was like, man, we need one of these back home. We need an Excel Center back home. And in 2011 and 12, the Excel Center expanded to a couple other communities. And then 12, 13, a few more outside of Indianapolis. The first outside of Indianapolis was in Anderson. So I was like, okay, we're getting a little bit closer. Then in summer of 2013, they announced that they were going to come to Richmond. So we've been here since July 2013 and have graduated almost 400 people with their Core 40 high school diploma or with their general diploma.
So talk a little bit about what it means to, let's talk a little bit more about the Excel Center. Let's dive into what a student goes through when they're joining the center. What do they learn? What do the classes look like? I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there about the program.
Right. And the first one is, and it's not the same thing as the GED or the HSC. That's at the Warner Building, and they do a great job down there. John Thurlow and his team do phenomenal work. We just do something that's different. So we do the Core 40 as well as General Diploma. And we also encourage students to earn dual credits and or certifications through Ivy Tech or other service providers. So, there are multiple steps, right? You have the application. So people can apply. That doesn't necessarily mean you're enrolled. So you apply, you come through orientation, and then at orientation, you kind of learn just standard operating procedures here and, what it takes to graduate. And then you come in and then you enroll in your classes. Obviously, things look a little bit different now with COVID, but at the same time, we still have those orientations for people to get those kind of basics of what we do and who we are.
It's a great program, and anybody can check it out. You can visit the Facebook pages and the website to learn more information, or stop by the building to learn more. Tyler, what does it mean to give back to your community in the way you are?
It means everything. I care about Richmond, and, I've been fortunate enough to travel all across the country for different conferences, or even, going back to see my in-laws. I let people know that I'm from Richmond, Indiana, any and every opportunity that I can. And it's funny, everybody, no matter California, Arizona, Massachusetts, Tom Raper Place. So that's what they still associate Richmond with. It means a lot to me because I do care about this community, and I love this community very much. Even traveling back and forth from Indianapolis to Richmond, this is my home, and it's my heart. So I want to see it do well, and I want to see people here thrive.
That's amazing. We need more young professionals to think like that. And you mentioned that you went to Earlham College after graduating from Richmond. A lot of times we hear high school seniors say, I'm getting out of this place, I'm going somewhere else. Why did you decide to stay here?
Outside of basketball, I grew up around the Earlham campus, so I knew that would be a quality education. And, it's crazy. There were something like 95 different countries represented when I was at Earlham, and on a campus that size, that's pretty unique. So I would always kind of joke around like, yeah, I'm at Earlham, but I'm still like thousands of miles away from Richmond. Because if you get lost on campus and you talk to different people from different places and who have had different experiences, it's really easy to get lost in that world on campus. But I think it was, for me, that the quality education, the opportunity to play basketball, and the opportunity to kind of still, I probably didn't do as much as I would have liked, but still have that opportunity to help out in the community while going to Earlham.
Absolutely. At the beginning of our conversation, you mentioned Joe White, and I know that you, Tyler, you know everyone. Like when
Joe and I are related, so that
okay, well, Joe
Yeah.
because you're related, but know just how important is your network to you in the success of what you do professionally and personally?
It's very important to me because I like to. I don't know. I mean, I have my core friend group, but I just love people and I love their stories, man. So that's super important to me. Everybody's story is important, and that's what I value. And I see where people are, and sometimes you might assume one thing about somebody, but if you talk to them and really get to know them and you get to know their story, it's like, wow. And people sell themselves short a lot. And I'm like, no, your story is incredible. And, it might not look like somebody else's, or, the path might not have been the same, but it's still cool to hear about how people get where they are and how people overcome certain struggles at certain points in their life.
Is there someone who stood out to you as a mentor, someone who's giving you some really good advice?
There have been a couple of really good mentors. Obviously, I mean, I would consider my mom and dad, beyond, them as parents, right? Good mentors for me. And as I've gotten older, I seek advice from them rather than being told what to do. So that's a little bit different conversation, but they've been great for me. Chad Bozer, high school basketball coach. I remember there were a few things, and we would always make fun of this T-shirt that he had. And everybody on the team had them. It said cause over self. And we were like, what does that even mean? Cause over self. And so as you get older, it's like, okay, you have to put the cause, whatever you're doing, above your needs. So it's basically kind of the we before me mentality. That's what he was telling us. But we were, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids who just wanted to make fun of him. But I Another strong piece of advice that he told us was after our very last game that we lost to Anderson in the sectional championship. He said, I don't want for you guys to ever say that playing Richmond High School basketball was the best thing that you ever did. And for me as a 17-year-old kid who had been going to games since I was like 3 or 4, I was like, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? And then you get older and you move on with life, and you get married, you have kids, you have these opportunities professionally. That's what he means, right? Like that should never, it was a fun part of life. And, it's something that we use to learn and grow. And obviously you want to compete and do your best, but that shouldn't be the best thing that ever happened to you in your life. So that was a solid piece of advice that I got from Bolzer, and just people along the way. A lot of people that no one in Richmond would know. My old boss, Jeff Hoover, was a great mentor for me, as well as a few other folks over at Goodwill and Goodwill Education Initiative. So
talk a little bit about your experience. You didn't just graduate college and become executive director of an Excel Center. How did your career path go?
Oh man, a little bit of everywhere. So when I graduated 2006, it was, you're still kind of unsure about what you want to do. So I substitute taught for a while. I actually worked at Belden for a little while in inside sales. Then I started working at the Dunn Center, which is now Centerstone, as a case manager. And I liked that. I liked working with youth, and I liked being involved, and it was on the education side. So I was like, yeah, I kind of like that. And then I worked for Department of Child Services, which was, it was an interesting position just because I got to see different views. Or I got to see a different perspective of Richmond that I hadn't seen before. And then after Department of Child Services, I worked for Kraft Foods for a year in sales. I just wanted to get away from people and just stick with Nabisco cookies and crackers at the time. And then the Excel Center opportunity opened up. It was brand new in Indianapolis, and something that, kind of fit and, helped grow. And so now I think we're at like 27 schools, and we're in Indiana, Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, and DC. So 5 states and District of Columbia, 27 different schools. And I started at one. And so it's crazy to see the growth, and, there are other states and areas that have interest in the Excel Center model.
Absolutely. It's such a cool, your story is so cool. You didn't just figure out what you wanted to do and did it. And so many people have that career path that's kind of choppy. They don't know where they want to go, and they kind of land where they are by, working really hard through a lot of different things and figuring out what makes them happy. Mm-hmm. If you were to give
serving people is what makes you happy, or makes me happy, and helping people reach whatever goals they're trying to reach has been awesome. It's fun to see for me, and it's awesome for that individual and their families. When you see somebody who maybe is unemployed or underemployed, they get a promotion, or they finally land a job, and you go from $0 an hour to whatever it is, right? And it's like, man, that's awesome to see. And I love it when people come back and brag on themselves and, well, this is what I'm doing now. That's great for me to hear. So
one of my favorite things about the Excel Center is the graduation and getting where the staff hands the diploma off. What does that mean to you? Well, first explain it, and then tell what that means to you.
So we do 2 different graduations each year. So it's not as packed. Normally, 30, 40, sometimes 50 people per graduation. We haven't been able to do this because of COVID. Obviously, it's kind of taken that away a little bit, but each graduate can choose a staff member to hand them their diploma. So a staff member they worked closely with, they had a bond with, that maybe irritated them to the point of, okay, I'm just going to get this done so they'll leave me alone. So each individual student gets to choose the staff member. And those are just very emotional moments. Obviously, still emotional at any level, but it's just that personal touch that each student had with that staff member. And, it's always fun to see. And, Mike Lepresti went to a graduation and he was like, man, you could write a book about this. He was like, it's awesome to see just so many generational curses and so many things ending right there, and so many things springboarding for the next generation for families. So, it's a small piece of the puzzle, but it's a very important piece at the same time.
I commend all the work that you and your team do, because you can see the lifelong impact. Not, you look at the pictures of graduation and you've got the parents with little kids who now have a high school graduate as a mom, and what that means for them and what that means for their education. So really incredible work.
Yeah, I'm looking out now at the graduation wall and I'm seeing people from like 4 and 5 years ago, and it's just awesome to see. And it's incredible. So.
It's making a lifelong change for our community. Tyler, if there was a piece of advice you could give to someone, let's say in their early 20s, getting ready to figure out what they want to do with their life, what would that piece of advice be?
Man, just try to have fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. Obviously be serious in your job, but don't take yourself too seriously. Make sure you read a lot, travel a lot if you're able to do those things. And obviously once restrictions are lifted and it's a little safer, we can do more, but try to read a lot, travel a lot, and just enjoy your family and friends.
I love that. My favorite question to ask every person I interview is, what is your favorite thing or favorite place to visit in Wayne County?
Favorite place to visit in Wayne County? Well, if my parents watch this, I'll say their house. So I go there. No, I would say, man, we talking food or what are we talking?
Well, let's start with food. With
food?
Yeah.
All right. It's probably not the healthiest choice, but man, I love Legends. I love their wings. I'm a big calamari fan. Anything fried, the chicken sandwich. So yeah, I'm a big Legends fan.
So we'll follow that up with, we know you love working out. Are there gyms that you like to hang out at?
I don't like to hang out at the gym. But,
you're not a gym rat?
I'll go to Anytime Fitness. That's fun. And then Tyler had a gym, and actually it's kind of crazy. So it's like a full circle thing. One of our graduates, Solomon Williams, he was doing boxing instruction. So I was kind of hitting the mitts. I'm not boxing anytime soon because they get hit back, and that's not fun. So just going there, get the cardio workout with Solomon. So, I spent a couple years teaching him, and now he's teaching me. So
that's awesome.
The full circle effect.
Tyler, anything else you'd like to say about your professional life or your personal life? I know being a dad of 2 keeps you quite busy.
Oh man, no, nothing other than I'm trying to do a better job of balancing kind of that work-life balance. It's not always easy, but it's something that you have to do because your kids are watching what you're doing. So it's good that they see me working. I hope they don't see me working too much, and I'm not on my phone. Like, I have to do better about that because, you have student needs at all times of the day, and make sure that I'm spending that time with them when I'm with them. So that would be another piece of advice. When you're with your family, be with your family. Don't be too distracted by devices.
Well, I love that. Tyler, thank you so much for sitting down with us. If people want to learn more about the Excel Center or they want to reach out to you, how can they contact you?
The best way at this point is to go to the website at www.excelcenter.org, or you can call 765-960-7894.
Thank you so much for joining us, Tyler. I'm one of your biggest fans, but also I really appreciate the work you're doing for our community, and I appreciate that you chose Wayne County as your home.
Yeah, and as always, you are the favorite little cousin that I never wanted. So.
Thanks, Tyler.